musical outcomes versus non-musical outcomes. The great thing about music is it really gives you a lot of both things. In the terms of musical outcomes, the things we're talking about with early childhood are a basic understanding of musical concepts like high and low, quiet and loud, fast and slow, getting faster, getting slower, becoming louder, becoming more quiet, up and down, ascending, descending, all those different ways. Steady beat. Those are basic musical concepts that we really want to work on. Non-musical outcomes, though, are endless. There's non-musical life skills kinds of outcomes like team building, turn-taking, listening, watching, focus, respect. All of those are things that come directly out of musical activities that, of course, we want to make sure all of our students have. But then there are also those things like the sequencing that happens in music helps with sequencing that we need to do to understand pre-math skills. The patterns and form that we hear in music helps us, again, with both those math patterns and form and also with reading, understanding that those patterns of letters become words. All of those different things are non-musical outcomes that come out of music. It's always good to have a balance. It's also really good to think about those outcomes with the end in mind so that as you plan your activities, it's great if you plan activities and after the fact you realize, wow, that really helped with their team building and it really helped with their steady beat and it really helped them to take turns. But it's even better if you recognize that those are possibilities and say, you know what, this group really needs some work on turn taking. What kind of musical activity can I put together that enforces that? So starting with the end in mind is always a really good idea. Helps you really come together and find your activities. So in terms of the goals for music for preschoolers, we talked about those basic musical concepts, steady beat practice, emphasizing musicianship, starting to understand some of those musical sensitivity things that toddlers don't necessarily have. It does keep everyone focused. There are school readiness skills built into all of that, social skills, and then their vocal skills, which tie into singing. So my kind of basic thing about singing, number one is, please sing. Sing with your kids, sing often, encourage them to sing. Don't be afraid of your own singing voice. Don't feel like somehow somebody in your life made you think that you're not a singer. If you speak, you can sing. There are some things that will help you to sing. The first is what we call singing in a light, clear head voice. And the biggest mistake that I find with people when they're working with students or just singing is that they sing in their speaking range. Unfortunately, our radios are filled with poor examples of how we should sing because we get these really throaty, chesty sounding voices, which are fine if you're a trained singer and you know how to do that without hurting your vocal cords, but are not okay if you're not in that situation. And for preschoolers, I'm sure we've all experienced those little kids who speak in this really low monotone voice all the time, like everything they say is right here and they don't have any expression and they use this really low voice all of the time, no matter what they say, it's monotone. And we want to work on verbal expression and expanding that range. Infants naturally use all ranges, right? They go from very low to very high, and we do kind of make that more socially acceptable by narrowing those things down as kids are growing, but we sometimes have narrowed too far, and that's where you get those little monotone kids. And so we want to expand that again. So here's my easy experiment, which is just to put your hand on your throat and to say the word baby in your speaking range, and you'll feel it, you know, all the vibration, just to say baby, 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 baby. Now, and you can feel it all vibrating. Now imagine the baby is right there and they're sleeping, or, you know, and you're looking at them, they're so cute, and you're saying, baby, 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 baby. What happens to all that vibration? Yeah, it's gone. You know, you might feel a little bit, but that buzzy is gone. And that's because when I'm speaking here, the vibration is on my vocal cords here. That's why it's called my chest voice. When I'm up here, the vibration is up in my head. It's why it's called my head voice. So it takes the stress. Thank you so much. And takes the vibration off of here, puts it here. That takes care of safety issues for your vocal cords, but more importantly for young children, that's where they can hear the difference in pitch. If you are singing, jingle bells, jingle all the way, and your kids are singing, jingle bells, jingle all the way, it's because that's really probably what they're hearing. They cannot discern pitches when they're in that narrow, low voice. If you're here, jingle bells, jingle all the way, you will be amazed at how much better your kids will sing that back with you in that range, and you will hear those different pitches. And I know last year when people, I don't remember who it was, said, yes, maybe, I don't know if it was you, Terry, maybe you said, I started singing higher with my kids and now I realize they really can sing. That it's just a situation of they just don't hear down here those differences. So I know that I always feel as comfortable, but try to make yourself sing up there. The other thing is you'll find it doesn't hurt your voice to do it. I can have a bad cold and I can still sing up there because I'm not doing stuff here. And you don't have to belt anything out. It's just to be able, you will be heard better because you're up in that high range. So challenge yourself to do that. And I said, listen to how your students are singing to gauge your range. If they're in that monotone thing, you're probably too low in there. I will have people say, well, I'd love to sing with my kids. I just don't know enough songs. I don't know enough things to sing. Or maybe you know too many songs. Or you're tired of the songs that you know. One of my favorite things to do is what we call piggyback songs. It's taking melodies that we already know, that everyone already knows, and you just change the words to them. And so I gave you 3 spots. One of them, row, row, row your boat, so we know the song, and you could change to sing, sing, sing hello today. How are you? I hope you're well. Sing hello today. And then you could go around and sing to everyone in the class. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. You can turn into this is the way, and of course, I tried to go with educational things. I just came up with some of these today. So, this is the way we pick up our toys, pick up our toys, pick up our toys. This is the way we pick up our toys each day when we're at school. Those kinds of things we can do, or we put things away, or brush our teeth, or all those things. And then, for if you're happy and you know it, this was another one I came up with today. I don't know if we like the chancer, but I thought it was cute. So I went with, if you're happy and you know, if you think you know the answer, raise your hand. If you think you know the answer, raise your hand. If you think you know the answer and you want to have a chancer, if you think you know the answer, raise your hand. So again, just different ideas you can do. Take those easy songs, and they're very easy to come up with that things. And kids will help you come up with new lyrics for those once they get that idea. I mean, they love to do that kind of creative stuff. So you'll find all kinds of ways that they can join in with you. So just some ideas for singing. One of the huge umbrellas of musical skills is steady beat. And steady beat is something that we can probably never give enough experience to our students. And it is probably the one thing that will help them in so many different varied areas that we don't always think about. First of all, that term, steady beat, is a little bit of a deceptive set of words because everybody has a steady beat. We all do. We all have this steady beat that's ticking here all the time. So everyone has the ability to do something in a steady way. The reason we tend to see some of our kids who don't seem to have any ability to get themselves together rhythmically or steadily is that they're so governed here that they can't kind of leave this alone and get to a different tempo or different speed, and that causes them to sort of be out of sync. Like they're trying to get over here, but they're so governed here that they're somewhere in between, and then they're not with everybody else, and they just don't seem to have that kinesthetic, their whole body feeling a pulse and moving. But by steady beat, that's what we mean. We don't mean the ability to do something in a steady way. We mean it's the ability to hear an outside sound or to decide of a tempo we want to do, to find a speed we want to go and match it with our body. So an example of that is a big wheel. A big wheel that has the pedals attached. The faster the big wheel goes, the faster the pedals go, right? Regardless of what, they just start doing this and go faster and faster. A child who has terrible trouble syncing themselves to an outside speed, we've all seen those kids on the big wheel, right? They just can't get themselves where they're now doing this along with what the big wheel's doing, or a tricycle, same thing. Bouncing a basketball, dribbling a basketball requires that same thing of the ball is going this speed and now I'm going to go this speed, and then together I can change what the ball is doing because now I'm going this speed. Those are all steady beat things. Cutting with scissors requires the ability to modify steady beat. And again, those are those skills I know you guys see every day, where you see this child who, and they're ready to go, and this one who's having so much trouble because they can't get the right gait going. running with confidence, all those different things require the ability to modify your steady beat. Singing along with what the group is doing, answering the question in the amount of time we're giving them, all of those things are really inherently tied to steady beat, modifying what you're doing. So it is a great life skill, and there's lots of fun things you can do. So with all those things in mind, singing, musical and non-musical outcomes, steady beat being that big one, lots of other things, we can put it all together, which is that second page of what you guys have on there. So one thing we're going to start with, which I think are in here. Yep. And I know we won't have enough for everybody. It will be close. No, maybe not. I was thinking there were more sets in here. In general, how many sets of sticks do the kids have? Is there enough for one per kid most of the time? No. Okay. One pair. One pair of sticks. Okay. So we may want to talk about other things that you can use rather than sticks, but for now I'm just going to give sticks to you. This table. I was thinking and looking at them that there were more sets of them, but I'm going to do this.
Our class sizes increased.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. They were made for having them in there, but they don't have them. Okay. So, first of all, wooden dowels, short wooden dowels that they have like at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, they have like a pack of them for this, will work just as well as this. Pencils will work. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can make work for this. And of course, we always have these, which work for just about anything to do those steps. If you don't have actual sticks, use your hands or use your finger sticks if you want this way. So, the nice thing about what I kind of wanted to do with this was the idea of, rather than thinking, well, we've done something with the sticks and now we have to put the sticks away and do something else, was what are all the different things we might be able to come up with the sticks, so that by taking one manipulative, we can do lots of different things and spread that time out instead of, well, we spent 30 seconds on sticks and now I still have 20 more minutes of music time that I need to come up with activities for. So to start is even the distribution of what you're using, so if you've got dowels or whatever you're going to come up with to make a sound, is make that distribution process part of your lesson. Maybe it's that everyone from this table is going to be giving the sticks around. I mean, I know kids aren't at tables, but this group, whatever group they might be, they're going to pass 2 sticks out to everyone. That might be something. Or generally kids love to do this kind of stuff, so one child gets to pass those sticks out because they've been the one who was listening all day. So making some sort of educational thing there. A great one is that passing concept, which we know often needs a lot of practice. So having everyone in a circle, and as you hand out 2 sticks, that they have to pass them along until everyone has filled in their circle. Or you can put the sticks there and everyone needs to come and get 2 sticks and be respectful of everyone else as they come to get the sticks. So all of those things, again, are that idea of thinking of my outcomes, think of my outcomes first. I really need kids, in order to do more complex musical things, they're going to have to be patient and take turns and not all play the same thing at the same time, because I don't have a set of 20 tambourines. So in order to be able to get to this point where everyone's okay with this person having a tambourine and this person having sticks and this person's going to sing for now, I have to get better at them taking turns, right, or saving room for others. So those are those kinds of things that I want to think through ahead of time. So number one, of course, is we can have some guided exploration of just what are different ways you can come up with on how you can use those sticks. And so those who have sticks, or with your hands, come up with what are the different ways you can play those sticks. And let them just explore for a little bit. Kids like to just come up with problem-solving things. You can, of course, model different ideas for them. You don't have to require that they change when you change. Just give them a little time. We tend with kids to sometimes feel like we have to show them every single way we want them to do things, instead of just letting them have some free exploration. And as long as they're being safe that way, give them that free exploration. But to say, okay, hey, I saw someone playing this way. Can you guys try this way? So that's, finding another way to do it. I saw someone else doing this. Maybe you can play them this way. So you can help guide it. You can take ideas that you see there. Maybe we can play them this way. Same thing with clapping. You can do that on your legs. You can clap your hands. All of those are ideas for guided exploration. This is an easy one. I didn't write out the words, but you probably can Google it and find probably 25 different sets of words. That's how a lot of these traditional chants are, is they're all over in various ways. So here's one of them, which is roly-poly. So go ahead with me if you have sticks. Roly-poly, roly-poly, up, up, up. Roly-poly, roly-poly, out, out, out. Roly-poly, let them in your life. So that's one way to do it. Like I said, if you Google it, you'll find a zillion different ways. With that, make sure, challenge yourself to say, up, 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 because that's a different musical concept that I'm working on. Out, 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 and really emphasize that I'm working on some kinesthetic awareness things, going back and forth here, and then of course, after we sit them in our lap, waiting as long as you can possibly make yourself wait, and as long as they can wait, because of course, inhibitory control is one of those skills that we are always trying to work on. Having them be here, and our hands are somewhere else. So that's an easy way, again, to put all of those different concepts in there. Then, of course, just simple songs with the sticks. Hop, and once you guys hear it once, join me. It's not that difficult. Hop, old squirrel, idle dum, hop, old squirrel, idle dee. Hop, old squirrel, idle dum, hop, old squirrel, idle dee. That's our song. So even if you have sticks, clap your hands, sing with us. Hop, old squirrel, idle dum, hop, old squirrel, idle dee. Hop, old squirrel, idle dum, hop, old squirrel, idle dee. Now I do this. Tap, old squirrel, idle dum, tap, old squirrel, idle dee. Tap, old squirrel, idle dum, tap, old squirrel, idle dee. Roll, old squirrel, idle dum, roll, old squirrel, idle dee. Roll, old squirrel, idle dum, roll, old squirrel, idle dee. Hop, old squirrel, idle dum, hop, old squirrel, idle dee. Hop, old squirrel, idle dum, hop, old squirrel, idle dee. Obviously, all kinds of things you can do. You can have some people with sticks, and other people with bells, and other people with scarves, and do a whole combination so that you have different people doing different verses. All of those will work. Those kind of easy songs where you can just change a little bit, helps with those skills, keeps them singing, being expressive, all of those different things. And then, of course, that's a practice playing along to recordings, which brings us here, which we definitely have to use now that we had to get all of our stuff here. So, you guys should all have in your kit, it's the African Playground CD. Many people have used that at least some way or another. So some of you guys have. It is a really great CD, and kids love it, and I'm going to play 2 tracks for you. We'll tap along. If you do not have sticks, challenge yourself to come up with some other sort of body percussion. So hands, or here, or tummies, or stomping your feet, any combination there. So we're all going to do steady beat practice of some kind. And I'll tell you what these are. This one has an introduction. The introduction's kind of, the kids love it, but then you will probably recognize it after the introduction. So we'll hang out till it comes in with a regular melody. Yo! Then another one that's great and kids love is Lava Lava, which is this one. Done this one at all? Yeah, so this one's like a total hidden gem on there, and at the very end, this guy speaking says, this is really a song about a butterfly. So when I say, we're all gonna fly like a butterfly, I want you to stop, to fly like a butterfly. And so it is really fun to have them listen, and at that thing, to stop here and be, fly like a butterfly, fly like a butterfly. That is not my idea. My husband teaches K through 6 general music, and his kindergartners love this. It's their favorite thing. So I will play a little toward the end so you can hear that part. And you guys have to fly with me too, with your sticks. Should be right about here. The entire CD is great, but sometimes those tracks don't let you know what those are. And of course, that is such good practice for this. It's great dancing, music, all kinds of things you could do with the different tracks that are on there. And then it moves us along to then a big set of things, which is, I didn't bring any piece of paper, but I'm going to go like this. I'm not going to use the technology because I'll screw it up. Is there a
markers?
Marker over there?
Yes.
I see it. Okay, so we're going to pretend that each of these is a piece of paper. And I'm just going to put some numbers on there. Okay, so we are going to use our imaginations right now to imagine these are all little folded pieces of paper. All right, and I'm going to start by asking you to draw one of these and tell me which number you got. 8. Okay. And of course, you can do any combination of, depending on where your kids are, whether we have to figure out together that it's an 8 or help each other to know that it's an 8 and verify, is it an 8? Did they say it's an 8, but it's really an 8? All of those different things, right? But we know she is right. She chose number 8. So we are going to play our sticks, or clap our hands, and we're going to count to 8. And we're going to stop playing when we get to number 8. So our last tap is going to be number 8. That's all we're going to do to start. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And of course, you may or may not have everybody stopping it. You never know. But as you guys know, kids can count. They can really count. Like, I can count to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? But to count things, or count sounds, or move their body in the same point as counting, that one-to-one relationship of counting, that's different than reciting numbers. And of course, we need this for all of the other things we want to be able to do in music and in life, starting and stopping and being together and being in a group. Now we're going to try something else because we're talking about very quiet sounds and loud sounds. So we're going to go with 8 again, only this time we're going to count and play as quietly as we can for all the numbers except 8. 8 gets to be the loudest you have ever said that number or played your sticks. We ready? Does that make sense? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly. Now, what are some things I did that I didn't tell you I was going to do? What's one main thing I did that I didn't tell you I was going to do? Yeah, I slowed down. Did you catch up? When did you catch up? Immediately, right? I mean, by number 2, you were there with me. So sometimes we give too many instructions. Kids are really good, and by the next time, let's try it again. I'm just going to stay with 8. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is a great thing because suddenly, what do they have to do to stay together? They have to watch, right? They have to focus, they have to come in and pay attention, they have to listen to what's going on, they can't be off in space over here. So they really have to be in the group, and suddenly they are playing steady beat in all these different speeds, which is our goal, right? And they're doing that one-to-one counting, and they're studying dynamics, quiet and loud in music, and tempo as well. All those different things are going on. So there's lots of ways you can do that. You can do everything loud and then quiet, which is kind of a different change. It's fun to do the quiet and then loud, but you can vary those different things. Be careful that you don't equate, leading them to equate quiet with slow and loud with fast. Because everybody does that. In fact, adults will do that. That as we get louder, we get faster, or as we get quieter, we get slower. So we want to keep those as separate things. So doing things, I think it's really important that they keep doing things quietly and not realizing that we can go faster, 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 that those are unrelated skills. So of course, you could do all those different numbers. You can get higher numbers. If you happen to have kids who are beyond that early childhood and you want to instead give them 2 plus 2, and then they have to figure out that the answer is 4 and then tap 4 times, that just builds more of those skills. Again, going back to my husband, he, with his, they do this with drums, and even his 6th graders, can we play that number game? And so they do things like multiplication and division and this divided by this plus this minus this, and then they get to play it on the drums. So you can keep building that skill over and over and over. So those, of course, are turn-taking, number recognition, one-to-one concept, dynamics, speed, following, watching, listening, team building, being part of the group, standing out, but then being together. All of those different things are wrapped into one easy activity. So, I'm almost done. We have 2 minutes left. So, my last thing is, I will pick on this thing instead. Deliberately made these kids have a variety of instruments, but then you sometimes have the problem where, well, I wanted to have a tambourine, or how come everybody doesn't get these? And of course, you have to figure out ways that over time, they understand that at some point they will get that chance, but not always right away, and different ways that it's okay to not all have the same thing, and ways that you can come up with a cohesive activity, where everybody has something different. So, last time we talked about stories, and I knew we wouldn't have time to put a story in there, but for this one, what I came up with was another piggyback, which is with that if you're happy and you know it. So, we're going to go like this, and I'm going to hope that people who have the instruments can figure out what I say, whether they're supposed to play. Everyone can sing with me, but we're going to go like this. If your instrument has jingles, play it now. If your instrument has jingles, play it now. If your instrument has jingles, play it loudly, play it proudly. If your instrument has jingles, play it now. Exactly. If your instrument has rattles, play it now. If your instrument has rattles, play it now. If your instrument has rattles, play it loudly, play it proudly. If your instrument has rattles, play it now. Exactly. Then, of course, there might be doubles, because we have, and that little apostrophe is, if your instrument's a shaker. That's what I put that in there for, is what that one means. How about, if your instrument makes rain sounds, play it now. Now, of course, right, that could be a total, we have to be creative and make our, because a lot of those instruments can make a rain sound, right? So it's not necessarily obvious, and I deliberately did that. But they sometimes come up with some really, really cool explanations for why they have that. So, of course, that's their, goes tap, tap, etc. So those were just some little ideas. But then, of course, if they don't have an instrument, if your instrument's your body, play it now. If your instrument's your body, play it now. Exactly. So all kinds of things you can do. So that's just one thought for combining those things. Something I did last time, like I said, that we didn't have time for, is just to take children's stories and figure out ways to illustrate them with those different sounds. And that leads them to hear, if any of you guys have from last time, and can pass it on to your colleagues, maybe if they didn't have them, I gave you guys just a story of being on a train and different things that happen on the train that lend themselves to the instruments you have. You can come up with those kinds of stories on your own all the time, any sort of adventure. Anything with a big storm, we were driving in the car, the sounds of driving in the car, somebody honked a horn, I heard a big noise over here, there was a bulldozer here, the rain started to come down, all kinds of ways that you can just build a little sequential story. They add those sounds, they're doing abstract thinking, they're solving problems, they are sequencing, understanding the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's a hugely important thing that we have to make our students be aware of to help them be successful as they go on. So, that is the mini in-service. My email is on there. I am always glad to answer questions. I would have to admit, I'm frequently in lots of meetings in various places and on the road. I will always email you back, although it may take me a little time. If I don't email you back, assume I didn't get the email and send it, because I will never ignore those, but it may sometimes take me a couple days. So, thank you all for what you guys do. You guys are in charge of the most important people in our world, because they're the ones who are going to take it over someday. So, thank you for what you guys do.
Did you bring any catalogs?
I did not bring any catalogs.